Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to kick off a Clone Commander marathon by taking a look at some more figures from the Black Series 3 3/4 inch line. In today's review we're going to take a look at a real fan favourite, and I'm really excited to give you a look at some of these figures because if you've been watching my reviews for any amount of time you'll know I'm a huge Clone Trooper fan. So these particular figures are absolutely awesome in my book, although that's not to say that they're not without their flaws. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But as I said, we're going to take a look at a real popular character in today's review, and it is of course none other than this guy, Clone Captain Rex from the Clone Wars animated series. Now obviously with this figure being from the 3 3/4 inch line of the Black Series, he is a realistically styled figure, in the sense that rather than being based on the animated appearance from the Clone Wars TV series, he's styled in a sort of sculpt that would appear in a live action or realistic movie or TV series. So rather than, as I said, being an animated style, he's more realistic and he'll fit in much better with some of your figures from the various Star Wars movies. Now, as I said at the beginning of the review, while these figures are very cool, they're not without their flaws, and we'll talk about some of those in just a few minutes. But before we do, as always, we're going to take a look at the packaging that this guy comes in. And once again, we do get the very cool but updated Black Series packaging design, which obviously features the TIE Fighter pilot card back design in the background. And we of course get a very nice stylized image of Rex in the bottom corner. On the reverse side of the card, we do get a still image, although stylized, from the Clone Wars animated series. And then just above that we do get a character description as well. So very cool packaging. Rex looks fantastic on the card, although he looks much better out of it. So let's take a look at the figure out of the packaging. Now, as I said at the beginning of the review, a cool figure for the most part, but he does have a few pros and cons, and we'll get to those in just a bit. Before we do, we'll run through the articulation of this guy because he is a brand new sculpt. Hasbro, rather than retool or resculpt a previously existing figure, have gone back to the foundations really and sculpted a brand new figure for this version of Captain Rex, and it pays off. You know, it's a decent sculpt, but again it does have a few issues, so we'll talk about those later on in the review. But articulation wise, Captain Rex does feature a ball jointed head, sadly no removable helmet. He does have hinges at the shoulders, hinges at the elbows and wrists, swivel at the waist, swivel hips, ball hinges at the knees, and ball hinges at the ankles. So reasonable articulation, although it's obviously a step down from what we've seen on previous figures. As you can see, the helmet sculpt is really nice, and that's one of the main key features of this figure that I really like. And obviously you've got the shoulder pauldron there as well, which is a loose accessory. Now, as I said at the beginning of the review, this guy does have a few issues, and those really lie within the overall quality of the figure. There are a few issues with this guy that shouldn't have made it past the factory, and in my opinion just decrease the value of the figure in many ways. You know, for the most part it looks great, but it doesn't particularly feel great. As you can see, this particular figure does feature two DL44 blaster pistols, although Rex doesn't hold them particularly well. They're very loose in the hands and they're very prone to falling out. The trigger finger is, you know, neither use nor ornament, and yeah, there's just something going on with those hands that just don't hold the weapons too well. Thankfully there are a couple of holsters on the belt, so you can attach the blasters to those if you so wish. But one of the other major flaws with this figure, and this is my personal preference more than anything else, is the fact that we get a plastic camer with Captain Rex. So obviously that hinders some of the articulation and gets in the way of some of that posability. Now, we have seen plastic camers before, but I personally prefer soft goods fabric. It just allows a little bit more freedom in terms of articulation, and it just looks a lot more natural for the figure. You know, don't let that comment put you off this figure by any means. It's just my personal opinion, but I would have much rather seen a soft goods fabric used for that camer. As you can see, however, the rest of the sculpt is really nice. That helmet is, once again, really cool. You've got some great detail going on there, especially in the paint applications. You've got the Fiber First blue markings and the J guys on the brow. You've got the kill marks, and you've even got those sort of gold, bronze lines on the helmet, which are obviously meant to replicate the weld marks from where Captain Rex has taken a Phase 1 and a Phase 2 helmet, fused them together to create his own unique look. As you can see, those kill marks do continue onto the forearms and the backs of the hands. And the same goes for the other side. We also have a few kill marks on the shin plate as well. All in all, it's a reasonable figure. It looks great, does the job nicely, and again it will tie in really nicely with some of your movie realistic clone troopers rather than being of the animated style. Again, just the overall quality of the figure just could have been better. In several places the paint apps are a bit sloppy, such as on the belt there, and the plastic that the figure is made from is a little bit soft, very lightweight and very rubbery. So again, the overall quality of the figure does devalue it in a few ways, but for the most part it's a decent figure, one that I'd highly recommend. And as always, if you want to add this guy to your collection, be sure to do so via the link in the video description. That will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk, and again, at the time of filming this review, this guy is in stock and available to buy, so don't hang around, get him while you can. He's going to be a hot seller, that's for sure. So if you enjoyed having a look at Clone Captain Rex from the Clone Wars, not a bad figure, but not too great either. Definitely has his issues, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at Captain Rex, once again from the Black Series 3 3/4 inch line. I'll be back to give you a look at a couple more Clone Commanders over the course of my next few videos, and I've got a really unique one to give you a look at next. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, as always, thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.